super important thing when starting over is to find things that support you. Find ways to support your health, your mental well-being, your ability to stick with things, the ability to come up with new stuff, right? That all requires an energy and a trust in oneself. And one of those things I do for me is go out on the trail. And so today I did just that. And I've been doing it every day. I think it's been every day for a few weeks. And I haven't always done it midday or like maybe even late afternoon where I can get sun and vitamin D, which I've been doing better like last week and a half with that, making sure I get out early enough because I tend to like the sunset time. It's just peaceful. But again, thinking about what it is that needs to support me. And part of that is vitamin D and the natural kind as much as humanly possible. And also the sun, within reason. Take care of yourself and your skin and all of the disclaimers there. Not a doctor, not giving medical advice. For me, I need the sun. The sun gives you lots of different things in addition to vitamin D production at the right times of day, at the right time of year, depending on where you are in the world. And super helpful for me, and also increases mood and just forces me also to get out earlier in the day, right? To not get bogged down in stuff or in just losing attention on things that seem important but actually aren't, right? So part of this thing I'm doing where I'm starting over is looking to see where to focus my energy, my attention, my will, my being. Where do I put that? And what are the essential things? And support is essential. Rituals that I do that are meaningful to me are essential. They're just the foundational pieces to all the other stuff. I can't do any therapy work, physical or mental, spiritual. It's hard to do that without the other foundational pieces to your physical well-being. So just really happy I've been able to do that. And given that there's other stuff going on now, and when I have layers of different kinds health-wise, it's super important for me to have that so that I can ride that wave of that and have a different relationship with it. Makes a big difference. And also doing this has allowed me to have that time as a letting go and a decompression and a time when stuff gels, stuff that I was maybe reading about or thinking about or having conversations with people about, and it'll just gel when I'm out there among the trees. And trees also give off this really cool chemical. I don't know the name of it. You can look it up, but it's supposed to be calming. And I do think it works that way for me. Sometimes I think it's also just the green. Although it seems to work in winter too, even when the trees are bare. So I find a beauty in that as well. And that's the thing, right? For me, the ritual is finding the beauty in these times that I intentionally set for supporting me and just abundant life. And I was walking today and it's solstice. And so I stood there amongst some of the trees that I have named. There's a grove of birch trees in one part of the trail. And this is a groomed trail, right? This is a groomed, most of it's paved. Yeah, for me, avoiding possibility for ticks is huge for me. And but I'm out there and I'm in this grove of birch trees, and it's just stood there for a bit and just let whatever come to me, right? Like just be there and be appreciative of it. And I swear I feel ancestors in the birch trees. And you know, maybe that's an imagination, or maybe it's being still enough to experience what might be there. It doesn't matter to me. It's what I experience and what I get out of it is the thing, right? It's support. It's all supportive. It's supportive of life. It's supportive of, hey, you know, two days ago might have really sucked. But right this moment's good. Or I think it was just like 5 minutes before that, I was having so much lower back pain. And I'm like, oh, should I just turn around? And I'm like, sometimes that would be the smart thing to do, right? But I was like, you know, I'm just gonna go slower and just be here with it and just allow it to be there. And body will tell me if it's necessary for me to go back, and then I didn't have to, which was really nice. And so I'm only able to do that when I'm really taking care of myself and providing that support. So, you know, I do that when I can. And then there's days where it's like, oh, wow, the most supportive thing I can do is just get myself to bed at a good time or eat more slowly, right? That could be the thing that day. But all of this is the only way for me to start this new chapter. It's not even a new chapter, it's a new book. This new book of my life. I'll come up with a better analogy along the way, but this new book of my life where I'm really trying to let go of whatever was before and all these notions of what it should be and what I could do before. I caught myself earlier thinking like, wow, you know, I've had a lot of ideas and things that I really, really want to do, that I feel called to do, and I've gone over it with people who are extremely supportive, and they've just asked me the question, like, just sit with this for a bit. Do you think that that's something you have the capacity for right now? And I did sit with it, and I was like, well, you know, I'll collaborate with somebody and I'll get some help and see if maybe I can get some grant money to start it up. And I had all these ideas of how that was going to be, that I could, you know, offload some of the work, and then realize just even getting the grant to start that, to pay somebody to start helping me find more grants and help me do this stuff, even that is just, it's a lot. And but I thought, yeah, oh, but I could do this because that was me before. Me before could pack a lot in a day or in a week. I did a lot. Energizer Bunny, that's always was me. And there are, you know, sometimes an hour or two where I feel like that a little bit. And that doesn't usually last. It actually just doesn't last. And so I know that the answer to that is no, I don't actually have the capacity to do all these things. The point is thinking about who I was before and making decisions based on that person. I'm not that person. That is not the life and the experience that I am having now. And so letting that go has been a real, I mean, it is a grief process. There are times where it's sad. And I have to let that out. And you've seen some of the older videos of some of that. And, you know, so it's like, okay, that's a reflex. And I have to just keep reminding myself, nope, you're on this new timeline now. It's a new timeline. It's just a new shift. I don't know. If anybody has a good analogy for this, type that in the comments. I'm sure I'll come up with one along the way, but it's just nothing really the same. And if I can, other than the soul and my being, right? If I can just really learn to toss the rest of those assumptions and patterns from before and really start clean, which is what I'm attempting to do now. So again, all this stuff that I'm doing to try to support myself is so that I can do that really well. Because the more I free up of that, the more stuff's starting to come to me. And now I'm really committing to this. And also over on my Instagram. And I think I'm starting a second channel, although maybe I'll just put the videos in here for right now, that really focuses on what's going on in the world and in the world of work, and what are we all going to be doing for that, and for people who are starting completely fresh, and which I can now relate really well to, and for people who maybe are just starting out or want something really meaningful, they don't feel like they have that, and how to think about what's happening now economically. And I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have a sense of the stuff we can double down on so that we can be ready for whatever happens. And I have some theories about different ways that this could go. But I absolutely know there's some foundational things that we can absolutely 100% prepare for. And it starts with inner work, and it starts with really practicing and teaching ourselves these beautiful thinking and discernment skills. And you can only practice them. You can't AI them. You can't put them into a large language model and get answers to that. There's some stuff, actually all the real important stuff can only be found on the other side of struggle and of friction. And I don't mean struggle as in has to be as a negative thing. I mean it as something where we have to wrestle with something, an idea, trying to write something, trying to create something. That's the only way that these skills, these abilities, these foundational pieces to us actually develop. And it's like saying, I want to build, it's not a perfect analogy, but I want to build muscle. And so I'm going to have my friend lift some weights and I'm going to sit there and watch them. I'm not going to build any muscle like that. I can't outsource that. There's certain things I can't outsource, right? And you can't know what to outsource until you have really good sense of a lot of things. And you need these skills. And you also need knowledge in a lot of areas, in some fundamental areas, in order to use the skills, the critical thinking, and be able to discern, and to be able to put things together, and to be able to understand when something's off, something's wrong, something's not true, and when something's true, and when something's for you and not for you. We need all of those things, right? So I'm going to be doing just more targeted videos about those things, and the things that I am doing for me, and the things that I do when I work one-on-one with other people, or when I do group workshops, and how we've started to shift this. And also the concepts of, basically we're all basically contractors now, right? And in the work world, for those of you out in the work world already. And, gone are the olden days, which were a very long time ago, where you could go and work somewhere for most of your career, and have, loyalty and all that, be rewarded. And it's just not like that. The economy just doesn't work like that for most folks anymore. And so, but we haven't started building any of those skills. Our educational system does not promote those skills. The way it's taught, the way it's run is not for that. It's for the old way. And so we all need entrepreneurial skills, even if you're not going to technically go start another business. the business is you. And I don't even like to think of it in terms of that. I like to think of it in terms of you're going to build a whole set of different skills and have different experiences over your lifetime. And how do you think about that? How do you go about that? What skills do I need in order to do that well? And to be able to sustain myself and income given the current realities of this version of capitalism. And so, yeah, would I like things to shift into a more human and life-centered economy? I would love that. And I live in the one we have now. So how do we prepare for all eventualities, right? And at the same time, contribute and help build something new. And sometimes that starts in small, right? Mutual aid societies, and people, think about that term, and if you're familiar with that term, sometimes it has a connotation of, oh, well, that just sounds like, that doesn't sound good or whatever. They have, sometimes some people have a negative connotation of it, or it just sounds like a lot of work, which it is. But also, I think it's a beautiful way to do things, and it's a way that many of us, depending on situations, can start in small ways. So it's not so out of reach with, a lot of things. It's like, oh, we're changing all these systems and this big thing, all of these, marginalizations and, patriarchy, colonialism, white supremacy, all of it. Like, that seems huge, right? So where do we start? We start here. We start in here, and then we start right around us, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So all of these things require, us to do a new set of skills. We all need them. I have some of them, thank goodness, because I don't know what I would have done the last 20 years of my life, really. And, but I'm going to keep growing them and shifting them because stuff has shifted. So the way I did things before, again, got to put that there, because yeah, I can build on some of those things and use some of those foundational skills, but I got to build a new set. So I'm building with everyone else. I'm building, and as I build, I'm going to share, and I'm also going to share the stuff that's working with other people, right? Some stuff that works for one is not going to work for another, or might need slight modifications, or so, start sharing some ideas and some ways we can start. Again, realistically start where we are, and it's going to look different for all of you. Everybody's starting from a different place, but that doesn't mean we can't progress regardless of where you're starting from or the situation. Yeah. And if you've seen any of my videos, I've hit some very, 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 very low points in a lot of ways. So also acknowledging just the nature of all of the privileges I also have. Okay, so I'm hoping you follow me. I'm hoping you stay tuned for all of those videos. So if I do start a new one, I will share that and put that in the notes for the community, but I'll also probably post at least the first one in this one, because it is all about being alive, right? This one, I'm trying to get a little more of the inner work going, and maybe the other series share some more practical things for how to build some of these skills that are going to be really useful for us and how to go forward. Because just waiting for whatever to happen, I don't love that. I don't love that idea with other people in control of that. Not a huge fan of that. And yeah, there's a time for being and for stillness, and a huge benefit to those things, vital for my life. And also have to take actions that are inspired actions. So that's what we'll be doing in that other series, and I'll let you know if I start a new channel for that. And I just want to encourage you to find what it is that supports you. one ritual, one thing. Literally, sometimes, like at one point for me, it was being mindful when I put the sheet over my pillow when I made my bed in the morning, just that one part of it, doing it really deliberately and saying, I'm taking care of myself. That right there was just this beautiful thing that supported me in a small way, but it made a difference. And so, out there getting sun, being among trees, if you have trees where you are, maybe it's a mountain, maybe it's a pretty buildings, right? Or if you're near water of some kind, or you can go admire art, something that you can go do that is supportive. Just one thing. Just add one. Think about what that might be and try it for a while. Try it consistently for a while. See what it does for you. And keep following, because I am very committed to this, and I want to be held accountable. Talk to you tomorrow.